Yes, 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 people. Liverpool 2, Midtyjlland 0. But in truth, a very difficult game for Liverpool. A game which could have gone the other way. There were some golden opportunities for the Danish side in this match. Liverpool not at the races. That's two Champions League games running where they weren't really at their best. And it's been, listen, Liverpool are still getting the victories. So there's an element where their fans won't mind. But another injury to a key player in Fabinho, another overall poor performance from Liverpool is not going to feel the die-hard Reds. The real true Liverpool fans that know their football will be sitting there fearful. Will be sitting there concerned that there haven't really been very many in the 10, 11 games played this season by Liverpool, very many standout performances. Tonight, Midtyjlland they cut Liverpool open on 4 or 5 occasions. Better quality players would have taken Liverpool to task, in my opinion, this evening. With Fabinho being injured as well, that is going to open up all types of problems for them. There's no doubt about that. There is very little option now for Liverpool to have players come in and fill in those centre-back positions. They are going to be praying to God, praying to Buddha, praying to Allah, praying to Joe Pesci. They really will be that Fabinho isn't going to be out for a 2 or 3 week period. 2-0 tonight, actually flat as Liverpool as a scoreline. Congratulations for getting it. But I know Liverpool fans are not going to be... Liverpool fans are not going to be happy with that performance. But do me a big favor before we go any further. Smash that like button for us. Go into the description below and please sign up to our mailing list as well. It's very important for that and our brand new newsletter and website that is in development. Go click on that link now. It takes you a few minutes. That way you'll never miss any notifications. We've got some massive competitions coming up as well to win a PlayStation 5, 2 control pads, and FIFA 21. So make sure you get that downloaded about now. Liverpool fans, I want to hear from you in the comment section. I want to know what you're thinking. I want to know what you're feeling right now after that performance. And I know some of you Liverpool supporters are going to get your knickers in a twist because I'm not sitting here being overtly positive. But I don't think there's very much to be positive about when it comes to that game for Liverpool this evening because it was poor. Overall, it was a poor performance. I mean, you had just 9 shots on goal. You know, they had 8 attempts and they were very close to scoring. And this is Midtyjlland. So comment here from Monsieur Ahmed that says, poor from us, but a win is all that matters. Let me pose this question now to Liverpool fans. Is winning all that matters at this moment in time for Liverpool? Are you not worried and concerned yet about the lack of performances? If you're not, then do you know what? Cool. If you think it's all going to be okay, cool. But for me, if I'm a Liverpool fan right now, I'm worried about the volume of chances that we're conceding per games. We'd be worried about the lack of dominance that we're having in matches because at some point, you know, you're going to come a cropper. You're going to come a cropper at some point. It's okay when you're playing teams of the standard of Midtyjlland. It's okay when you're playing teams the standard of the Sheffield United. You know, you've got West Ham at the weekend that have been in tremendous form in recent weeks. That's going to be a tough game. You then play, if you play like this tonight against the way you did it, you know, against Atalanta, if you play this way against City, if you play this way against Leicester, you know, these teams will punish Liverpool. So for me, it's absolutely congratulations for picking up the 3 points, but you have to look at performance levels as well. The odd game last season, every 5 or 6 games, you would see Liverpool drop a performance like tonight, and you'd say it's fine though. In the grand scheme of things, Liverpool find themselves in a very comfortable position indeed. But, and I mean this is happening far too frequently now in a Liverpool shirt. Monsieur Ahmed is now on the line with us. We're going to jump into his call in a minute. Neil, one of our honorary contributors to the channel with the super chat, says 2-0, job done. Games will be like this until we get our players back. I'll take it. It was like this last season too. Good performance from Reece Williams. Reece Williams was excellent. I agree when he came on. He truly, truly was. But I don't think your performances were like this last season, bro. If I go back and look at the way you performed so far this season, Leeds, you had your full team out there as an example. Arsenal in the Carabao, in the Community Shield, you had your full team out there. You know, you only really stepped up against Chelsea once they went down to 10 men. Arsenal at home, yep, you slapped them. Arsenal in the Carabao Cup, Again, not a good performance. You then got beat by Aston Villa 7-2, scraped over the line against against Everton. Yes, the offside goal at the end killed you, but you were opened up in that game. Poor against Ajax, average against Sheffield United, average against Midtyjlland. For me, I would be worried slightly about the performances. We're going to go to Monsieur first of all. How you doing, bro?
Not too bad, too. How about yourself?
Yeah, I'm well, mate. Listen, listen, a win's a win. I get that. Are you concerned as a Liverpool fan by the quality of your performances?
Slightly worried. I mean, obviously, to be a top team, you got to put in a good performance out. I mean, we were poor today. There's no running away from that. I mean, some of the sloppy passing. Midtyjlland, credit to them. They kept on pushing us, pressing us. Had a few chances they could have scored. But the reason why I put the comment that wins all that matters is one thing you got to consider is the amount of games that's coming up until December. We've got injuries to Fabinho, which is going to be a massive miss. Van Dijk's injured, so we're very short on our defensive options. But
that's my point though. This is not about getting at Liverpool. A better team tonight with better quality players. Same as when you played Sheffield United, the volume of times that these teams have cut through you. When it comes, when you might still win the league this year, you might still win major trophies. I'm not denying that, but the difference is I haven't seen Liverpool for 3 years be opened up as often as you have been in these games. How big a miss do you think Fabinho is going to be if he's out for 2, 3, 4 weeks? How damaging could that be for Liverpool?
Could be very damaging because obviously, like Matip is as well very uncertain. It seems like he played the one game and just picked up a slight knock, so we can't really rely on Matip as well. So
yeah,
I mean, fair play to Reece Williams. He came in a youngster in the Champions League game, even though it's against Midtyjlland in the Champions League game for a young player. He did a very decent performance. But having Fabinho out will be a massive miss. It leaves a hole in the defense. So.
No, I hear that completely, my bro. I appreciate you coming on, having your say, and thank you for all the contributions and super chats of late. I really respect it massively, my man. Thank you.
No, it's Terrace. Thank you.
Top man, thank you. There's a comment here from Rasta man who says, Terry says, are you concerned about the win tonight? Listen, if you're a Liverpool fan and you have no concerns about your performances or anything along those lines, I respect you for saying you don't, but I don't believe you. And I think the reason you're attacking me is because what you really want is you want to bury your head in the sand and you don't want to talk about it. We've got Terry Tibbs on the line, Liverpool supporter, as we all know. Mate, congratulations on the win. But I want to ask you this question. With Fabinho now being out injured, are you concerned at all with your performances in the last 4 or 5 games?
No, I'm not really concerned about the performances, mate. I mean, we're joint top of the Premier League. I'm not even worried about the chances we're conceding. What I'm more worried about is the overwhelming injury list that we seem to be getting. You know, no team really this season, Tez, has been, you know, outstanding, have they? I mean, no. Chelsea, Tottenham, United, no team's been outstanding, and it was expected because we're in times now where we're seeing an unprecedented amount of games being played.
Yeah.
So teams are going to fatigue, teams are going to drop off. They're not going to be the same as they were last year, and I was expecting this type of Liverpool. What I will say is I'm more worried about the injuries. The quicker we get the likes of Van Dijk back, Thiago, Fabinho, you know, cater to a certain degree because he is a decent squad player and he does put in a shift. You know, once we get these back, then we'll then start worrying about the performances, worry about getting these players back first and fit, and then worry about the performances.
I think that's a fair piece of analysis, mate. I suppose for me, Liverpool so far this season, and I get your point that I totally get your point that, you know, a lot of people saying a win's a win and I won't worry about it at all. The injuries, of course, are a massive concern. And what you guys have got to be hoping is that the hamstring injury is just a pull as opposed to a tear. The last thing you need now is Fabinho being missing for 3 months. Do you get what I mean? And I actually don't wish that on anybody because I don't wish bad injuries on any singular person like that. With Liverpool, it's many of your key players as well. And when I say worried about the performances, I think part of the reason your performances are the way they are is because you've got so many of your better players out missing. And, you know, you see in your last Champions League game at 60 minutes, you took off your front three. Tonight, You started them on the bench. The rotation's having to start already because, you know, we've got a super chat here that says it. I was about to say this as well. There's like muscular injuries are up by 43% this year. So rotation is going to be absolutely key. It also makes me laugh even more about the fact that Man United fans are crying that we haven't been rushing Van der Beek into playing every single game yet. It's like you've really got to take your time this season with how you use people and stuff like that. But listen, I'm sure Liverpool are going to come good at some point. The great news for them is that, as you say, nobody else has really gone out running. Last season, there was 5 points from the team top of the league. There's a 5-point gap between them and second. Right now, there's a 5-point gap between first and 14th. It's an amazingly close year. It's crazy. It really, and that's why do you know what? Maybe my standards for Liverpool have gone up in the last few years because of how well you started previous campaigns.
I think that's what it's got to say in the moment. Yeah. That's it. Says it's. Let's be honest. We were the best team last season by far. No one could touch us. We were unbelievable. We were relentless. And I think that. I mean, Man City did it, didn't they? When they became the Centurions, they gave themselves such high expectations, and everyone expected so much of them because they went on to be Centurions. The next year, when they won the league and they beat us by a point, I'm not even gonna. It was a little bit underwhelming from Man City because everyone expected them to be better than what they actually were. Don't get me wrong; they still won the league. But they went on an amazing run at the end, and I think that's what's happened with Liverpool to a certain degree. It's been a lot of case of his rival fans have looked at Liverpool and they've seen amazing football and they've seen that we've been relentless and we've sort of been our own worst enemy, really, in terms of setting these high bars. No,
I agree. Speaking of high standards, I want to talk about one player. I think he started his Liverpool career fantastically well. 2 games in his last 2 matches. Diogo Jota. I've always got a soft spot for him. He's one of my old clients from my previous life, basically. And I mean, how impressive have you been with him? The way he's settled is how I thought Minamino was going to be when he came into Liverpool. He's been tremendous, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's been fantastic, mate. I think when it was touted for 40 million, a lot of people raised their eyebrows at that. Because everyone knew he was going to come in and be a squad player because he wasn't going to start over Salah and Mane. But I think definitely now he's starting to justify his price tag. I mean, when we got him, I spoke to you on the show about it, and I said I think he's going to be absolutely brilliant for us. I said I think he's going to put in a great shift. I mean, you've seen him tonight. He does not stop chasing the ball. He doesn't stop running. He's like a forward Andy Robinson. He just doesn't stop.
I agree. I'm very impressed with him, and I think he fits in with so much of what Liverpool are about. Technically excellent, but what I've loved about watching Liverpool, if I can take my Man United hat off for a moment in the last 2.5, 3 years, is the work rate and energy. I've had this conversation so many times. You get the ability merchants that say it's all about skill and flair. It isn't about running and working hard. The best teams in the world ever not only play excellent football and have great technical ability, they work their backsides off. The Barcelona teams we were all melting over sort of 10 years ago, work the way they hunted the ball down. You have to work hard for that. Man United's marauding wingers. You have to work hard for that kind of football. And Liverpool do that excellently well. And I think that Jota is a great addition. But Tez, thank you very much for coming on, mate. Really appreciate it. Speak to you soon, brother.
Salam, mate.
Stop, man. Thank you. Listen, every Liverpool fan is going to look at this different. I respect a lot of what Terry says. If you think you're not worried about the performances, fair play to you for having faith in your team. The injuries must be a big concern. Super chat here from Midtyjlland says, I'm more worried about our injuries and our performances. We're down to 1 centre-back who's also injury-prone. Matip, Thiago, Van Dijk, and Keita as well. Yeah, listen, I get where you're coming from in relation to that. There's no doubt about that. Make sure you're smashing that like button, people, right about now. And I want to hear from people now in the comments. We can spend a few more minutes talking about it. Fabinho's out. Fabinho's out injured. Give me your thoughts and feelings on that. The way he pulled up, he's definitely not going to be fit this weekend. I cannot imagine that his hamstring is going to be okay for this weekend. I think for me, it looks like a 2 or 3 week injury. It could be worse though. Sometimes they look more innocuous than they are. But Liverpool fans have got to be praying to, as I said, God, Allah, Buddha, Yoda, Joe Pesci, whoever, to make sure that there ain't nothing wrong with this guy. Because if you go down to just Joe Gomez, that could be peak. And the only saving grace for Liverpool is that nobody else in the Premier League has started particularly well. I really, really do. Let's see a few more of your comments here. Minamino cost 7.25 million, acting like they paid big for him. No, I am not, you idiot. Minamino, for me, when I saw him at Salzburg, I thought he was top class. When he came into Liverpool, I thought he was going to have the same type of impact in the team that Jota has had. Remember, I don't go by the money that people pay for somebody to a large extent. I go by the quality of player I see. And Minamino is worth far more than the £7 million they bought him in for. Players get sold cheaply from RB Salzburg. It's part of the agreement when they sign that they'll be allowed to go for a minimal fee. That's why Salzburg are able to sign so many young and talented players. Next on the show, we have LFC Sunny. LFC Sunny, what did you make of your team's performance tonight? And of course, what I really want to hear about is Fabinho's injury. How damaging is that for Liverpool?
Yeah, about the performance, I said it last time I was on here. I'm a bit fussed about the scrappiness, but I mean, we won the league like this, so ultimately, I don't think it's too bad. But and then with Fabinho, I think we could be in really bad trouble here because we've got to sit in a couple of weeks. In a couple of weeks, I think we could hold about 5 goals against them.
Well, but this is, yeah, I mean, that's part of, there's 2 things I'll be worried about here. It's a combination of 2 things that you've said there. It is the element of not having defenders fit, but it's the performances on top of that, mate. Because it's the fact that this defense tonight got ripped apart by Midtyjlland. Now,
exactly, and now that we're losing players, I think
exactly it's the 2 things together. It's those 2 things together that you now don't have. So the reason I'm focusing on the performances, I know you've got injuries, but you can't actually do nothing about that. The point is, when you're playing scrappily, but you've got the best centre back in the world, the best goalie in the world, one of the best right backs in the world, one of the best left backs in the world, all 3 of your midfielders fit, who are collective are amazing, and your front 3 are all in form. In scoring goals, you're fine. But when you start taking away a midfielder, all your top level central defenders, barring Joe Gomez, and the performances are scrappy, you know for a fact West Ham, they're going to cause you problems at the weekend. Now, Atalanta in the Champions League next week, with the way they play football, they will cut you open. If Midtyjlland and Sheffield United cut you open, these guys will. Yeah. That's where I'd be concerned. It's the combination of 2 things together.
What I'm worried about is that I think we're trying to score a lot of goals in the moment. We're playing 4 attackers and we're not scoring that many goals.
Yeah, I mean, but it's because I think there's an imbalance now in your team because of the injuries, and then because and that's what I mean by the performances. Even as an attacking threat tonight, you haven't been that potent against Ajax. You could have scored goals, but you don't look the same Liverpool team to me, and I don't know what it is. And when I say it, most Liverpool fans get angry and frustrated. But I know that you're all thinking the same thing. I mean, you scored a couple of goals a game, which is good. But I do worry. Like, I'm not worried about Liverpool as a fan. I want you to fail. I'm a Man United fan. I'm just being as real as I can right now. Something isn't quite right. And the injuries are, of course, adding to that. And they're making it harder for you to get out of this situation. Look, though, you might beat West Ham, beat Atalanta, beat City before the international break. And I'll have egg on my face. And people say, Terry, I told you there's nothing to worry about. But I can see Liverpool dropping points in their next 3 games, and that isn't so.
I don't see us standing a chance against City at all. I think we will get absolutely battered.
Yeah, I get that. Someone here says, Terry, you're always trying to find fault with Liverpool. Of course, we aren't going to be the same as last season. I'm not trying to always find fault in Liverpool. I've been praising Liverpool for 2.5 years, saying they're the best team in the world. Where's the fault? I'm looking at a team that isn't performing to the highest standards and asking you Liverpool fans to give me your opinions on it. If you are too weak and soft and too much of a baby to answer those questions and hear someone ask a question like that, you need to sort yourself out, mate. You're going to struggle in life. LSC Sunny, bro, I appreciate you coming on, having your say, top man. See, all the Liverpool fans are phone up are fine. Relax yourself. But Terry, you make valid points. I appreciate you saying that, Monsar. I appreciate that a lot. Wouldn't you wish to play Liverpool right now? Yes, as a Man United fan, when I look at the fixture list, we play Liverpool it's ages away. We don't play Liverpool until January. And then we play you again near the end of the season, I'm assuming. Yeah, I want to play Liverpool now when our form's pretty decent in the last few games and yours hasn't been. It's a bit like Everton. I think Everton are going to go on a little dip now. So when we play Everton in just over a week, it could be the perfect time this season. I didn't want to play Everton 3 weeks ago because they were flying. Sometimes it's about timing. Sometimes you can... when Watford beat you last year, yes, they were good. And yes, you were poor. But if they'd have played you 5 weeks earlier, you'd have slapped them. They got you at the right time when you were just going through a little bad period. This is what happens sometimes. But listen, don't cry when people ask questions. You got to take it on the chin. Let's do one more comment here. unprecedented season right now. You said it yourself. Absolutely, Joe. And if you guys think the performances are because of the season and you're not concerned by it, then you don't need to be triggered by any questions that I'm asking. But listen, everyone who's tuned in, you know how much we appreciate it. Please sign up to the mailing list. The link is in our description below. Hit that like button, hit the share button. Back tomorrow morning. Take care. Goodbye. God bless. See you all soon.